Yeah, okay. So this is a part of the pre-read that we with Mark have prepared to share to all of us. And I would like to underline that the decision intelligence is like in a discipline that can be studied, and there are many ways that the decisions can be made. There are some nice articles and from Harvard, for instance, of different types of decision and how we as a human make them. And right now we have the situation that when it comes to business, usually how the owners and the managers make their decisions
Wow, you're gonna be up in Newport.
is either by intuition or because I know, or because someone tells them some basic stuff or provides the reports or they have dashboards. So this is how it was until now. And with the possibilities that AI give us, especially the large language models, which allow us to simply talk with information, discuss the information with some artificial intelligence, it makes the analysis even easier. And supposedly the decisions that we are making as a business owners or managers should be much better. Okay, so I will give two real life examples, okay, based on our experience. So first would be,
And then I did
Yeah.
this to set expectations. Then I'm gonna call on a few of you gurus out there to comment on either this or how you're seeing it in the business intelligence, decision intelligence sphere.
so the two examples I would like to real life examples that I would like to share from our experience with customers. First is a company that produces medicines, and they hire over 250 sales people that reach out to the doctors and have meetings with them and ask them to prescribe the medicines from this pharmaceutical company. And right now, they have multiple systems, applications. The data has until now was really silos within applications and databases. And when the owner needed to have the information about the effectiveness of his sales team, which is a core area of his business, well, he had to browse through so many things, and all the information was outdated. And right now, what he does is just ask the AI, which 10% of my salespeople are least effective? He receives the answer straight away. And then he asks, okay, what can I do to improve them? And because all his data is connected to such AIs, he receives the contextual answer based on his internal information crossed with some external information. For instance, that in autumn there are more sickness connected with fraud, for instance. Yeah. So there is an external data connected with internal data. So which medicines would be more popular in which time of the year. So all this connected, all this context given to the owner or the manager the moment he or she asks it. And the timeline is also important because this answer that AI provides is based on the information from right now, not from the past. And now I move to the second example. I'm not sure that like everyone knows that when a company builds a warehouse, like a big warehouse for their needs, this company uses like specialized other business that helps them secure the place and find the right place to build this warehouse. And the decision process of choosing the location and actually signing the contracts to build this warehouse is roughly around 12 months. But when they were gathering the data about, for instance, traffic, roads going to be built, and airports nearby, and possible workforce, labor, it was all gathered at the beginning of this analysis. So when they do make the decision after 12 months, the data that they have made this decision is already obsolete. So And this time gap can be bridged with AI. So this is like
Let
the
me ask you
background
this,
of examples.
because I think, when I think of you, there's Palantir.
Yeah.
What is a typical Palantir project?
This is mission critical decision intelligence in military or in government. So, for instance, they did British NHS. So there, or they have the decision intelligence AI which help to choose whom to kill. For
Well,
instance.
there are certain law firms that, it's a $5 million minimum, or they don't take on the mandate. What's a Palantir mandate size?
Like 100 million
100 million.
around entry level of the projects, and it takes like 3 years to deploy their platform. And the challenge with them, I would say that this is a black box internal. So they do not
Who are
share.
the global equivalents of Palantir? Does Korea have a Palantir?
No.
Does Germany have a Palantir?
No. We are striving to reach this.
And then how do you present your group relative to Palantir?
So we are like white and transparent and glass box AI.
The white knight?
Yeah, exactly. So we show the way the AI reasons with data and helps to make this decision. So all the people that work on it just can discuss with AI why this decision, what did you recommend, what will be the outcomes, did you take everything into consideration? Or for instance, like the challenge is that AIs are not really so intelligent as we may think, because when you explain the problems with efficiency of my salespeople, what does it mean for AI?
Call on a few people to add.
Yeah, let's open it.
Lucia, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just joined.
It's a little unfair, but you're with Accenture.
Yes. And
is Accenture-
Palantir is a partner of ours.
Okay, well, you can't talk, I'm not saying you have to talk to any partners,
Yeah.
but how do we see, I'm just curious about this landscape of business intelligence. Who do we turn to if it's not the White Knights, or Palantir, or I guess it's Accenture? What are people doing in business intelligence of any size? Does anyone have I don't know, and I don't think ARS is a candidate, but maybe some of you have business. Sorry?
Yeah. Are you saying like industry specific? Are you looking for size, like market cap of what specifically are you asking about in terms of size of business, or just the approach that we're seeing in businesses?
I think I have two questions. One is, who are the players?
Mhm.
And does anyone have experience in helping us all understand it and navigating it?
So I think there's several parts to answering that question. In general, a large language model in AI is built on top of a lot of data. What you'll realize is that in general, with many businesses, they'll say AI, but a lot of their data structure is not necessarily in the place to be leveraging so much of AI where it needs to be in businesses. What we see is a lot of people are using it for optimization, and everybody's rushing to agents, right? And they're doing that to probably optimize places where they want to cut some labor, or they want to probably reduce any redundancies. But no one, and everybody's trying to have their own internal LLM models to a degree. So very, very sophisticated financial firms will have that, but to the degree where it's for financial planning and financial perspective. But your normal and average person and anyone in between isn't there yet. So I can say that from a financial services perspective. And then obviously government and has their own large language models that are proprietary and for defense reasons. And they obviously work with Palantir, and they also work with Accenture. So.
Okay. Ron, you want to comment on this?
Yes, thanks, Mark. And Lucia, it's good to hear your voice. I knew her from South
Ron,
Africa and
oh
DC.
my God, hi.
Yeah. But Mark, your question on Germany and South Korea, whether they have their own either Palantir or Anduril or so, um, you know, that was a little bit of an interesting question, but also I think they would rather, Palantir would rather have them as customers if they're friendly to the US and, friendly US defense. So I was just curious as to, were you posing it as that there's lack of capital, entrepreneurial structure to do a counterpart in those countries, or why wouldn't they just be target customers of a Palantir? That's my question to you, Mark, or the speaker.
I'm really, I'm being partly provocative, and also trying to frame it so I understand the top tier and who are in the top tier. They don't have to be country specific, and then what are we all doing in this space? Are we struggling, learning and struggling and being excited, and then learning and struggling, being excited about these iterations? And we're about to do something you're going to see in Newport, the new iteration from our side. That's really where I was coming from. And then we're not talking about an app. Well, I guess we want to actually define what should our community be doing in terms of a series of these events that are both helpful on the theory and infrastructure, but also practical. So this is like a kickoff, a new kickoff of this series of discussions, I guess, is the.
I think there's a few things. I think there's the cyber side and the security side, like deep fakes, addressing those issues, maybe some security aspects. But then there's also the aspect of how it also gets used for optimizations and models. And there's also functionality that now allows you to speed up system development lifecycle. And enhancing businesses. So I think there's different aspects of how you're utilizing AI and the benefits of it. And then the precautions, obviously, of like your data and your PII. So I think there's just different aspects and where you want to go with it.
Lucia, just watch out. You might be partnering with 361 pretty quickly.
Okay, happy to do that.
And Andrew Randak.
Hey, Mark. Hey, everyone. Happy to be here as usual. Looking forward to Newport this weekend. I had to step out for a minute, so I missed the first part of the AI productivity discussion. And so if I'm being repetitive for other people, please forgive me. I'm a natural skeptic of anything that's big data, AI, silver bullet solutions, but now I find myself and my firm involved in 3 different projects where AI is going to make a huge difference. Number one is we are working with an outside vendor to streamline all of our alternative investing processes, subscription documents, warehousing of documents. There is a provider, and I can't go into a sales pitch right now, that has bots that then will log into every single GP's website, pull the data, read the data, and then provide a P&L across a portfolio of vaults, and then have a document vault involved. And all of that is done on an automated basis, which would save us and my firm thousands of hours a year. If we did that, we're gonna
partner with you too, Andrew.
We're also working with 2 different tech providers right now. We're trying to determine one versus the other, where they have massive amounts of financial data, and we're able to do on the fly portfolio asset allocation changes. So you can do literally immediate, like, what if I don't high yield from February to May, as opposed to owning an overweight in mortgages, for example. And you can run all of these on the fly portfolio optimization tools down to the security level. That couldn't be done without AI. And now we're working on a project for a handful of family offices where we're doing a deep dive into a specific industry where we have a universe of 500 publicly traded companies globally. And I have a call tomorrow with an AI provider that will suck in all of that data and then right size it financially in balance sheets and income statements, so that you can do proper analytics. That's a project that would have taken months. And they purport that they can do it in hours. So that's my experience on that front. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm gonna pick your brain in Newport for sure. Keith, I know you're using AI and to help the world
Yeah, I've
food and
actually,
other things.
interestingly enough, I've been working in AI since 1994 at IBM, dabbling off and on. But I think one of the really important things that we need to understand is that it's not all about generative AI. I mean, we've been using visual analytics for years to analyze satellite images and drone images and other data. There's opportunity to do predictive analytics. And I think one of the things the 361 firm needs to think about is how do you break down the various areas of AI so we actually can narrow into items of focus and interest for the various parts of the group.
All right, you're on the committee too, Keith.
All right, thank you.
The great thing is I don't have to take notes because AI is doing this for it. I can restructure it and give you 5 sets of notes. Bill.
Yeah, no, just to actually to piggyback on Keith's comments, I think that it's really important to differentiate between the large language model development and small language model development. Similarly, you've got symbolic versus non-symbolic tools that go into that. Primarily in large language model, you have non-symbolic. In the small language model, you have symbolic, which is really kind of how to think about that is that the large data sets are very necessary for the large language models because they're trying to analyze like literally like what word comes next in the sentence. Whereas in the small language models, they're actually trying to take processes and logic and program that into some sort of a solution algorithm that's there. So, and there's a lot of work that is successfully being done in the small model space. You know, I'm advising a VC firm in that space, and there's tons of solutions that are happening. A lot of really interesting stuff. Companies are getting quick revenue because the product market fit is a lot more binary than it is with SaaS companies. So either you do well or you don't, and those that are doing well are generating revenue, you know, quite nicely right off the bat. And the other interesting thing, you know, sort of to Andrew's points, is that the firm that I'm advising is cannibalizing all the stuff that their portfolio companies are working on, and they're building out their own internal systems. Literally, some of their staff is like really sharp, as you can imagine, in this space, and so they're building out their own you know, homegrown systems, not even getting stuff off the shelf for this decision report, for query, and being able to better manage all the data that they have available to them. So quite a lot going on.
Still digesting all this. Okay, Zarin. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, I'm also working on a couple of projects with AI, and I was interested about this, the one mentioned with the marketing. So I'm working on a project called where we can identify in a company organization which sales channels, which marketing channels or agents are more profitable and where to direct the investments or the resources of the company. And as I was working with this project, I also started to put on my valuation cap. And, you know, basically, if somebody can increase the cash flows, which is the numerator of the equation, and kind of de-risk by getting more data and more insight into their own organization, kind of a bit lowering the, you know, discount factor in the denominator, they can achieve a higher valuation. And when you're reinvesting in your business, if you can reinvest with much more efficiency, your returns will be higher. So, I mean, I think if done successfully, that could potentially increase the valuations of firms or could be added. I don't know if what anyone else thinks about that or.
One of the things, Aaron, is for our business, it's scalability. Much of what we do is idiosyncratic from every day, and therefore having these AI tools will allow us to scale. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to. Our growth rate would be capped, and it would be dependent on more human labor inputs in order to get more output. So We look at it from a also from an efficiency perspective, but it's a scalable perspective as well.
Thank you.
We haven't talked about ethics yet, but I'm sure we'll come back onto that. Sorry, sir? Sorry. I forget your name, CPUTU. I forgot.
Oh, sorry, Clement.
Clement.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I will change that next time. Yeah, I happen to specialize in an AI application, and I know everybody has already said a lot of good things, great things right now about AI, but I just wanted to add right now, I think the selling product right now in the AI system is the AI agents currently. With the AI agent, the new system that is coming out, you can actually, I don't know, a lot of us talk about keep asking question if AI is going to take our jobs and so on and so forth. The truth of the matter is that I cannot say yes or no to that, but I can tell you that with the current AI agent that is being developed right now is going to make our job a lot more easier. Put yourself in a situation where maybe a job that 5 people used to do in a company, suddenly one person can do that job with the use of AI agents. With the AI agents can use it for customer service. We talk about scaling our business or expanding our businesses. With the customer service growth with AI, addition of AI, using AI agents tools,
Yeah.
it can easily use it to scale. Then also follow with the personal AI, and that one is more like the robotic which you use in maybe 3 years from now will be what they're going to be using for in the manufacturing industry to actually help in the manufacturing sector. So there's a whole lot that I can talk about the current AI agent that is coming out for healthcare, for finances, and for even delivery robots. Those are the things that are coming out. Sorry.
Let's keep, this is sort of an experimental session here, so I'm getting all the inputs, and then I want to sort of.
Yeah, I just wanted to stop there.
Sure.
I'm stopping there. Yeah.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Michael?
So I look at AI from a different perspective than I think most of the people in this session.
You usually do, Michael. You usually have your unique.
My background is cybersecurity, and so I look at how do you attack AI? How do you defend AI? And just this week, I was reading a research study, where people publishing for peer-reviewed journals were inserting secret prompts. I'm doing air quotes around secret prompts, white on white text, trying to get good reviews because reviewers for various journals were relying on AI in doing their reviews. And so, people should take things with, I want to say a grain of salt, but maybe a pound of salt, because in the race to deploy AI, people are not considering security implications of what they're doing, both for the AI itself and the results that they're depending on from the AI. So that's my comment.
Bill, you're back. Let's let Anita speak. She hasn't spoken yet.
Please.
Hi, everyone. Education is my field. So I take the lens of education, training, and professional development when I think about AI. And I think right now we are confounded by it. We're not sufficiently training young people to analyze the implications, and the ethical implications are very large, which I would kind of echo off of what Michael just said.
Yeah. So absolutely. Yeah, no, I wanted to go back and address Aaron's question, because the answer is that productivity gains can be tremendous when properly applied. And some of the customers of some of the firms, that are portfolio companies, I'm not trying to do an advertisement, but it's just fascinating to watch. the customers themselves who utilize these tools and the more rudimentary the industry, the more massive the gains are. So you take a look at even construction as an example. There's one company that goes through and has developed a tool to analyze all the contract documents and put contingencies in terms of like what you have to do based on what the contract says you have to do on iPads, and that has enabled the customers, i.e. the builders, to be able to eliminate a tremendous amount of outside counsel work, which previously when they had a situation come up, they would literally have to go back, find the outside counsel, pose the question to them, counsel would have to find the right associate to address it, and it just feeds back. Now it's literally, because of the way that the AI has been able to analyze the construction documents, it's all those contingencies are on an iPad, and so you just use real language to do the query, and you've got your answer in a few minutes. The other thing is computer vision coupled with AI as well. Again, in the construction industry, you've got security cameras that are able to have this AI software just loaded in as an add-on to them. And what they do is they constantly scour the work site. How much materials are on the site? Is it the right materials? Is the way that the construction is progressing according to spec and all that?
Hey, Bill,
All that's done. So it's huge productivity gains.
you're like the Energizer Bunny AI. You got like 20 more, and then there's this and there's that. So, but hold your fire a little bit. Let Tammy, which is great. I now.
He has to come to Newport now.
He has to come. We have boats for you. So Tammy, go for it.
Hello. So I just want to build on something that Michael and Anita both said. I mean, he was talking about cybersecurity and she was talking about teaching, but it would be great to have some deep dive discussion on just the GPTs. And one of my biggest concerns, it was my concern years ago with Google when people thought that they were going to a neutral source. So like if I'm pro-life and I want to understand pro-choice, or pro-choice and I want to understand pro-life, I think I'm going to a source that will explain stuff to me, but it really algorithmically gives me my world. And we see that with half the US being only thinking what Fox says is the truth and half thinking only MSNBC, CBS are the truth. All the GPTs are feeding you your world. And I've been training mine to never use the word perfect or excellent when it gives me feedback, because I find it such an annoying bubble. There was just an article a week or two ago, a guy who got divorced from his wife of a very long time because he felt like his AI understood him better and is having, so kind of like her, but in real life, it's starting to happen more and more. And I see this bubble where people think that even in investment, right? So I go to my AI and I train it what I think I'm looking for. So because I've heard some article from someone smart, like in this group, that was on whatever my news of choice is, and I'm like, I can do that. And I see AI is taking a lot of people down really bad holes where it's feeding them what they want to see. So I just think that there's some discussion on what are the risks in that and what can we do or what should be done society-wise to help people understand the limitations of it feeding you what, not even hallucinating, feeding you your world. That's all.
It's sort of doing what social media does on extra steroids.
Yeah, but it's targeted just to you, like you feel like it gets you.
Oh yeah, but social media doesn't get me, but my AI therapist does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Anyone else? We're sort of fitted. Belinda, you're new. If you introduce yourself, if you don't mind, Belinda. And then Linda.
Hi everyone. My name is Belinda. I'm a VC with Tonsoir Capital. I think going back to the initial question, because we invest in industrial deep tech startups. So we have a different perspective compared to a lot of VCs out there that are sort of like hyped and chasing the AI trend. So when you look at it from a business perspective, especially using the case of Palantir, for example, they've been in existence for over a decade. So they've got all of this data from governments, from corporations. And so when you layer in within a closed environment, and then you layer in AI, I think that's really where they're able to now scale all of the information surrounding the decision intelligence. And I think it's what will make them valuable as a company move now and into the future. But what I see with a lot of AI startups is that they don't have over a decade of data. Even if they're trying to sell to customers, the value proposition doesn't match what they're able to deliver. So, for example, in biotech, I've been seeing a lot of AI enabled biopsy type of companies, and I think it makes sense. But then when you ask them, okay, what is the database of biopsy tissue that you're using to come up with your analysis, a lot of them don't even have access to that. And so those are the things that I sort of struggle with, and I want to take a contrarian view when it comes to investing in AI, especially decision intelligence, that is hyped versus what is real. So I guess just tying it back to the roundtable conversation.
Can I ask you, Belinda, and welcome to 361, your first hour with us. How do you use AI to lean on your trusted network in any way? I mean, not just like
not just what? Sorry?
We're having drilling in our building. Not just like talking to your AIs, but do you use it to sort of try to collaborate with your network at all? Like your trusted people, instead of making phone calls and asking their opinions or doing a Google poll, are you able to collaborate with AI?
Yes, we do a lot of collaboration with AI, especially when it comes to investment reviews. We do that. We actually have that secured also as well. So we don't really use the open chat GPT platforms, on the personal side. So we do a lot of collaboration and analysis using AI.
Come back to that. Look, Luna, you've been chomping at the bit to speak.
Yeah, but I don't know what to react to now.
I know. I thought we were going to see you in person, but we'll see you in Newport. You muted yourself. Did you self-mute? You don't want to talk?
No, I do. I want to talk.
Oh, sorry. You're on two screens. Yeah, okay. Carry on.
I am on two screens. It was echoing in my head because I have my headset on my phone. Anyway, so I'm not sure which one to respond to first. Decision intelligence, it's been around for a long time. My earlier career, I did decision support systems like that accelerated from detection of frauds to use of the phone system for the back then for Verizon, I think, or New York Telephone. We through automation, which is what we're talking about here, and some applied intelligence like decision support logic, we were able to take it down from 5 to 7 days, because it had to be printed and mailed and distributed, to dynamically allocating to business units and to agents, and doing the assessment, turning into a visual and giving them, here's what here's what the system thinks, this is what you can do, what would you like to do? Snip, call, and simplified. So that's a high productivity. But this is decision support, it's automation.
1 second, Julie's gonna mute her.
Sorry.
Okay.
So
You're good.
so that's different than necessarily the chats and more concerning in terms of security. There's a lot of concerns about security, the physical security of the data centers or the processors. There's so many issues, but also more interestingly, I call it food poisoning of AI, and that's when misinformation is being integrated or contaminating the food source, which is the internet and the data files that it's feeding on, or the labeling that so it's when we customize a particular AI, for example, like, which sunk my heart when I heard about open AI and offering custom chat GPTs or custom LLMs to particular countries. Now if you step back from the short term, where are we going to make quick money, and the long term impact on our society, ourselves, and etc., and all the things that we would be thinking about if we were thinking outside of our small little silo focus of immediate returns, we would see that we could be redirecting nations. We could be well, it's social engineering. It can be. I'm not saying it is. So we need to think about the risks. So I'll stop. I see hands.
Using your analogy, you've given a lot of food for thought. Everybody has. You've got to figure out some interesting, deep dives to learn, but where we.
So, but I just will add that we are doing, there's a lot of work that is being done, and I would love to have any of you and then all of you to join some of these activities, and they don't cost you a penny. And that's involving in standards, which will ultimately, hopefully influence the right kind of policy. But if the right people don't get involved in the standards and creation and in the discussions around what would be best practices and how to create transparency or explainability or accessibility, then we're only the ones to blame, because then the ones who have interest in controlling it in the way, and even those who have interest in controlling it in a certain way, don't see when we've taught our children, and AI is one of our children, our values, except that this one particular child, this AI child, is a super child. And we have already exceeded our own capacity. I mean, it'll only grow up.
You sound like
That's
Dekai.
Well, that's why you connected us in the first place. But I think the Kai says it's a tween. I think it's in its formative years. I think this is the most critical time. Thank you.
JP, weigh in.
Yeah.
What's St. Louis perspective on this?
It's pretty much the same as everybody else's. It's God. I wish I had been in New York this week. This would have been fun. I was in New York last week talking about AI across a number of different things, and I pretty much came to the same conclusion that Belinda came with. Is look, the entire thing is entirely driven by available data and what I've been learning to call analysis ready data. And what is good, what is dirty, what is just messed up. The key to the success of all of it is just sheer amounts of data sets that are you reach an impossible level of expectations, because you start looking at what's publicly available, and then the hundreds of billions worth of private data that you're never going to get access to. So it's the argument I constantly have with all the startups that I talk to is, I know there is endless amounts of proprietary data that you don't have and so I can't effectively make a decision because I know your data is already flawed. So like, how much better are you than Gartner or the Wall Street Journal? Because I can guarantee you I've got better information than you have, or that you can get in most cases. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like you could buy Gartner, right? You could buy the Wall Street. Yeah. Your AI could have access to it.
Yeah.
Question: where do you have your proprietary edges?
That's the trick, is how do you combine the proprietary data with the public data and see if you can come up with something. And now we run into what everybody said. You've got a security issue, and who's going to let that proprietary data mix with public stuff? I just had a conversation with a friend of mine who's a chief procurement officer of a very big company, and there's terms in the new SAP implementation contract that is specifically AI related, and they're essentially just taking the company data and utilizing it for their purposes. And that was a hard no by the CPO. It's like, sorry, take all of these clauses out. We're not doing that. So it's complicated. No, there's no answer here. There's only specific answers for specific use cases, not a global AI. It's just impossible to sort out all of it. But we continue to only look at things that we like that solve a real problem in a niche space that
Let me-
is really effective.
Let me pause you and everyone for a second. We have a real world problem in this room, which is and you may be all eating off camera, but we're not eating and we're on camera. And I need to put some food in. I promise food. So there's a sandwich place with wraps. There's chicken. There's vegetarian. I'm going to give a piece of paper. I wish I had an AI for that.
You do. Just speak into ChatGPT.
The technology exists, man. Just go
I
to
know,
ChatGPT,
I know,
order
but
me a
this-
sandwich.
This is 2025. Just tell me what you want. I'm gonna get salad and a wrap. Tell me what you want your wrap. In your wrap. All right, Jeff, and then I don't know who Juka is. And we're gonna we're gonna tie this all back together at the end here, but right now I'm just getting all the inputs. But Jeff had his hand up first.
Hey, thanks, Mark. I was just going to mention quickly, sorry, I'm not on camera. To me, I think what JP was saying a little bit is, for all these applications right now, I think it's underplayed how important, having your data set and being able to develop a data set further over time for whatever application, whatever problem you're trying to solve, is really where the kind of value is going to be in the long term. Because, kind of frontier models, I think, will come and go, and we're kind of caught up in the moment of the frontier model at the moment. Whereas if you can create a dynamic database, if you will, for your particular solution, that's kind of where the power is going to be. And my sense is that's where the evolution is going to be over the next couple of years. Just that quick comment.
Yeah. And Jeff, I want you to compare notes with MJ Gottlieb. Remember, MJ's got the AI for those with addictions. Your AI is sort of helping parent kids with mental health issues. I bet you guys
more of mental health, but yeah.
Yes, there's mental health related to addiction too. But I'd be curious how you guys could compare notes. I don't know, Frank, if you're on. If we can, because what Jeff's.
Yeah, maybe you could connect us or something.
I am. Hello.
Yeah, just keep taking note. Jeff's got an interesting AI company as well in the mental health space.
I'd love to chat with you about it. We spent about $1.5 million and about 1.5 years or 2 training our AI which pulls from multiple databases to be compassionate and empathetic and tee up exactly the right thing that someone who's struggling with addiction needs to hear to become to keep on track. And It's called SAM, Sobriety Addiction Mentor. And what's cool about it is that they can talk all night long. We've seen sessions that go like 14 hours. Well, people that are really struggling.
Were you here when Tammy was talking, Frank?
Yeah.
People getting divorced because the AI they can relate to the AI better than
yeah. I mean,
let's keep it going. Lubna, just 1 second. Juka, do you want to introduce yourself since I think you're new, possibly?
Yeah. Yes. My name is Yuka. I'm based here in Boston area. I manage a venture arm for a rather large family office here, investing tech companies here in North America, but also some in Europe, especially in Finland, where I'm from. I worked previously. I worked for Nuance Communications, which was an early speech recognition and then linguistic AI company. And a comment to since acquired by Microsoft, it was acquired a few years ago by Microsoft for $19 billion. The point that people were making about the sources of data, where the data comes from and how that filters to the AI decision making, the way how I often illustrate it is with a very simple question. I can ask the same question to you, or I can ask the same question to any AI models, and it shows the limitations. And the question is, how is my mother? All of you understood my question immediately, and none of you know the answer. So the data sets, you don't know if my mom is doing well.
Your mom knows my mom doesn't even know the answer.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't know if my mom is alive or not, or whether she's doing well or not. Right. That is the kind of the illustration of what in essence is the problem with all of these AI models. So the generic AI models can go only so far. So whoever kind of retains and has access and ability then to utilize the data,
My
they
mom
can
would
do
say-
something of valuable there. And
My mom would
maybe
say-
if your AI model knew my mom, then maybe you could offer me even more valuable things.
Well, I don't think AI should be answering that question necessarily. I think what my mom would say is just make sure the AI makes you more effective so you can come see me more. Then you'll know how I'm doing. Ludma, you want to way back in?
Look, I'm about to take off on a flight. I just want to say one thing. It's Anthony Gordon.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi. No, there was one comment about what AI garners from the user, and I think that needs to be more deeply explored. There's no disclaimer when when you feed into any AI that they cannot use your data unequivocally to do anything and everything that they want in the present or the future. And so my simple belief is that all of us, when we share on public AI, we're feeding that beast, which may include proprietary company data, business data, or proprietary ideas that either may or may not be patented, trademark, etc. And that's something that we all have to think about. And ultimately, that's why building one's own proprietary AI to plot, plan, and create one's own responsibility in the future, I believe, is critical. And I think that's going to be, there's going to be a big backlash later in this feeding of information, data, whatever we want to call it, and the consequences of that, for the better and the worse. So it can be used productively for the benefit of mankind and the user, but it can also be used destructively and counterproductively. And I think that's something to think about. Over and out. Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a safe flight. Well,
Thank you. That was great.
coming from you, Jeff.
Yeah, so
Well, look, we wanted this to be a kickoff session or sort of a re-kickoff. So we table different views, what people are thinking, seeing. This has been great. The other great thing is I don't have to take notes. They can sort of sit back.
If I could, I would like to jump to one critical information that was mentioned by many of us here, by JP or Belinda or other. That's it's all comes down to the data and to really make it work, take an internal company's information.
As you talk, can I share my screen?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I'll just click stop share. So what's to take the internal company's data and then enrich them with external data sources, which must be curated. This is not possible to connect your internal company's AI in general to the internet and just tell it to make it work. It will not work. So to take all this internal information from application system, databases, emails, all the files that the company has, everything, ingest it, then enrich it with external curated data to then make it possible to work on the whole mass of chaotic information. You need to create a blueprint of this business, how the processes work, what's the business ontology, how the data is connected. This is work, consulting really work, to create this blueprint for the AI to understand how this company works and how it runs. And then, and only then, it is possible for the AI to really answer questions without hallucinations. And let me be clear, large language models do not answer complicated statistical analysis correctly. If we want to predict the replenishment of stock in our warehouse, large language model will not do this. You need underneath a specific machine learning AI's deep neural network AIs and other stuff that are governed by mother like large language model AI that can work on this curated and blueprinted sets of data. So I'm sorry, Belinda, JP, I disagree. The things that you have said there are possible, and I know they are possible because we have done this with customers. Why?
First of all, I love disagreement.
Yeah.
We always violently agree with each other all the time.
I can disagree with him.
Yeah, but the Pinder disagrees with me on WhatsApp. Yeah. So
let me just do this.
Just one sentence. Security. What companies do, they just separate and create a separate box of AI which is disconnected from other AIs, for instance, and large language models are open sourced, not proprietary from ChatGPT or any Gemini or Claude. It's just different models that are trained and prepared for this specific company. So this is not that you can connect company's data to OpenAI. It's like crazy if someone ever does it. Yeah, this must be totally separated. And then when you have this separated data in separated box, then you can blueprint it, then you can implement AIs on it. So this is the way for enterprise architecture solution to do it. Sorry to disagree.
That's okay. So I think we're in this hybrid moment. We're gonna probably move away from the Zoom and then we'll have lunch and we'll continue this discussion. But I wanted, Yasmin is here and she's really the architect of something we're partnering on, and you sort of came midway, the gist, we're talking about just how people are using AI, how we as a community want to think of different programming of deep dives or how we want to learn together. But we also want to use it. We have a use case. That's what we're partnered with to do. Maybe you could sort of add your 2 cents, your observations, introduce yourself.
Sure.
And I'm wondering if I do that and I go get food while you do that.
No, you said we're gonna make it short and then we're gonna, because the best conversations are always good.
Yeah.
So, hello everyone, nice to meet you all. My name is Yasmin, I'm the CEO of Clever AI. And it's been really fascinating to hear all the different perspectives in this conversation. I'm very bullish on human-to-human connection through AI. I'm a psychologist and also an engineer, so definitely I have my own preferences. I used to work in a corporate venture capital. I help large enterprises to make decisions. And this is what inspired me to create an AI to basically connect assets with people. But I do want to relate to some of the insights that were I would say, exchanged in this conversation. So if there's 3 things that I think it's important, I would say, takeaways, in order to understand if AI is a hype or it's real, is 3 things. First of all, proprietary data. Second is trust and explainability. And the third is what is the use case. So I think Lubna talked a lot about the food poisoning and social engineering. I think is brilliant. And I think that also JP talked a lot about the use case. And let's just take that conversation we had, how we, as a network, together, collectively, creating proprietary data, just right now. And I want you to think about all the conversations you have in every day. What's the ROI? What's the return on a conversation? Is that can be proprietary data that is being created as we speak. And this is what we are building now with Mark. So Mark can then share a bit more later on. What he shows now in the screen is that every conversation we're having, it can be on a certain topic, it can be on a certain asset. We're basically uploading transcript. We started to analyze the risks, the benefits, the different perspectives of people. We even summarize. So the more data sources, both internal and external, are being analyzed into one investment memo, if I would say. So this is number 1. The proprietary data. You want to make sure you have access to information your competitors do not have. Now, the second thing that I can really speak a lot about that, I'm just going to say a bit, is trust. How is this community can establish better trust? So obviously some of you know each other, But I've heard so many people with different agendas and different passions, like education, cyber, AI, decision intelligence, healthcare. How can we actually identify across people what do you have in common and bring you together faster around deals that maybe you want to buy or you want to sell? So this is why neural networks and network effects can be very helpful to create trust. Explainability is absolutely key. I'm not going to talk too much about that, more in the report. And the third thing is the use case. It's really nice to talk about AI. It's almost like to talk about happiness, right? It's very subjective, but in the end, this is just, I would say, a tool. It's not the main objective. So what is about AI you want to solve? What keeps you up at night? Is it problem of staffing? Is it we need to make decisions, we need to make sure that we increase our chance of success? Is it I want to sell this deal, I want to do biz dev, I want to find the right person? So I really encourage you to think what is the problem that AI can solve and not to use AI just as a buzzword and glorification. I will say one last thing, and then I will leave it to you, Mark. I think we overglorify data. Data is great. Data needs to be curated, needs to be proprietary, and needs to be unique. But we do not like to be overwhelmed. I do think that the technologies that really shape the world are the ones that create clarity. And with that, I will finish.
Would it be possible for me to share one thing for 1 minute?
Sure, just Anita, did you have a question on that or a different question?
Yeah, I mean, if I need to wait till then, I can, no problem. Don't want to interrupt the flow if you're in the flow. That flow is in flow.
Okay, can I try?
Yeah, sure. So I think the human generated data is pretty much hit the peak, to be very frank, when it comes to already not just the large models, whether it's any kind of foundation models, LLM is one kind. We are already tackling physics models to mathematics models to almost everything. So the moving forward, really everything that we generate by and large are going to be synthetic data sets. So for that, because humans are very finite in how much they can generate and capture the data and in the modalities in which they actually capture the data. So instead of trying to focus on solving a problem where you're taking all these disparate systems and trying to generate and create something from scratch, we basically forget that entire system and do brand new way of understanding what data in real time dynamically is required for the systems to process whatever is the business outcome or general AI agent outcome. And then the other model is actually generating the data in real time scenario. And there are many, many, many companies, quite a few are venture backed. There are actually some are coming out of stealth, who basically all they provide is that kind of data sets that anyone can buy and train their models. And companies like Goldman Sachs to Bloomberg's, several companies in the Wall Street are using it. Bridgewater is actually building an entire associate, which is an AI model that will basically perform like another analyst. That's a Harvard-educated grad that you're bringing on board. Agriculture and physical AI is happening in a pretty significant way where, again, the idea is to where you really, really, really think a human is needed. But if it's not, very quickly you're building underlying systems that can slowly but steadily take those chunks of the work that humans are performing and migrating entirely to the AI native or AI first modality. So I just want to kind of put that out there. I know
you guys keep putting major things out there, like, and I'm trying to get us to lunch.
So Mark, please, I would like just to.
No, not to belittle anything from that. Thank you, everyone. Those are all good things we need to follow up on.
So I just wanted to share in real life how this decision making looks like, okay? Because I follow up on what Yasmin has said. It must be simple. So this is like real use case or real customer, just an advice. So the AI feeds the information that is worthwhile for the business owner or the manager in his main site. When the person or the owner of the business needs to dive deeper, he has this chat where he can just work through the information and analyze the use cases in detail. But when really stuff is, what's really important is that AI can analyze huge amounts of data and provide something simple like proactive insights. So this is the way to simplify. This is what Yasmin mentioned, like how to provide information in a simple and clear way, and only the information that is really valid for the user and for this company to make good business decisions. So that's how I just wanted to share for a moment. That there is like confirmation that it can be done, and it's someone is quiet, there are no more Palantirs, because it's really difficult to create this type of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Just, I don't even know what to call this. It's like a new chapter 1 kickoff call. 2025, July 13th. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and we will follow up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My AI thanks you.
Thank you very much.
All of my AIs, thank you.